started and see if Mark.
Remind me when we get to the end of the meeting. To look at that.
So on the agenda. So I guess Claire, you'll call the meeting to order.
Yeah.
And then for the approval of the agenda, because I have a couple things I want to add, so.
Oh, okay. So the meeting is called to order. So, well, 1 o'clock.
12:05, I think, or
It's
1:05, oh
1:05.
my goodness,
Yeah.
yeah.
1:05. That's why I took a second look. It's like,
Mhm.
what?
Maybe.
Okay, and the published agenda? Are we voting to accept it? Or you want to, okay.
Well, I wanted to add a couple things, that could just be for good of the order, but I just don't want to forget, so I just wanted to add an update on SNAP.
Okay.
And Double Up Food Bucks, which you could just do DUFB. And then music update.
Okay, so we want to go to the first section, vendor selection.
Yeah, so I just wanted to kind of give you guys an update on where we are and where we were last year at this time and some of the feedback that I've received. So right now we have 25 vendors approved. Couple changes, ZK Flowers has not applied this year. They missed several dates last year, but I've already accepted River City Flowers out of Nehalem. She'll probably, I haven't confirmed with her, but maybe operate her CSA for the people who live in Cannon Beach out of her booth, which would be great.
Oh, yeah.
So we have a nice pickup place.
So who is it that you did accept for flowers?
River City Flowers, yeah.
In the Hamlet, and it's 25 vendors, right?
There you are.
Yeah, I know, we got moved.
Okay.
Yes, so far.
Okay.
We have space for, I believe, 34 or 35. So that's good. I have a new food vendor. They are from Portland. It sounds like they're Peruvian, but what they're doing are going to be some ceviches and something else. I did send it to Jonathan to approve. He's a little concerned that traveling from Portland, you know, that's, I've reached out to the pizza place that contacted me and I haven't heard back from them. I've also reached out to the barbecue, although they did crab cakes last year. They were talking about doing a barbecue this year and I've reached out to them. I haven't heard back. And then I did.
Sandwich guy's not coming back.
No, I did talk to him. I know.
I've been looking
So-
forward to that.
I know. So Jason got a job. I mean, it's good for him. He got a job as head chef at Crothers. So he's
Oh,
only
okay.
he's only going to do
That's
a
coming back?
couple.
Brothers is coming back or has it moved?
Sasquatch Crothers. I don't know. I thought it was. Did it close down on the corner? You know, on the corner.
It's on the corner there in Astoria,
Yeah.
across from Liberty Theater.
Oh, I'm thinking of something.
You're thinking, I think, of the old one that was there before Brothers.
Yeah.
That moved and
I'm thinking
went
of
away.
something else, but Okay. I
Yeah.
got it. Okay.
So the Sasquatch Sandwich that's bad news for us. Good news for him.
Yeah.
He'll do a couple markets in Astoria because he has such a following. But that's what I know. I'm meeting up with the other market managers Thursday actually, and we're gonna talk about, you know, vendors and who's signing up. And I did talk to the Manzanita Market about some of their farmers. And then that prompted me to contact Josie Farms. And they're not coming back to our market. Her feedback was a couple, and I've couple things. One was the hours. She thought they were too long. She preferred more of a 3 hour. She felt like it really dropped off. I did explain to her that we have changed the hours from 12 to 4. But I don't know I do know it didn't make the biggest difference, because the other thing that she talked about, and this has been brought up by several vendors, is that because our market is so tourist heavy, that items that, you know, they're selling, tourists aren't buying because they're not
Yeah,
going back
sure.
to a house. And which brings me to how do we get more locals to come. And that's been, so I talked to a couple locals, and there's three things that they tell me why they don't shop here. One is no parking. I've tried to address that, and we have 2 signs that will be coming that I'll put out on Tuesday. And so the parking lot over, I'm thinking the first 2 stalls, there'll be a 30-minute parking for farmers market only.
Okay,
And so we can get that word out to some of our local people.
and we will have the, Legion.
We have the Legion, but that may be full of vendor
Oh, well, yeah.
parking, just sort of
Yeah.
depends. But yes, we also have the Legion. So we have those 2 things that I'm trying to, help with that reason why people don't come. Too expensive, although I don't see a price difference in the grocery stores anymore. I think that's a false perception.
We will also, locals and, well, everybody's gonna benefit from the fact that Sleepy Monk's closed on Tuesday.
Mhm.
That's gonna leave that road to turn over, fight for tourists and locals.
Yeah, but I'm wondering, that's a catch-22 as well, because I feel like a lot of people stood in that line and saw us. And
Well,
then
yeah.
they came over.
Yeah, but not locals.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, more tourists.
So,
Yeah, I'm
you know, it'd be
sure.
great to have a coffee vendor, wouldn't it?
You know how many
Would.
times they stop by and say,
Oh,
"Where
yeah.
can I get a cup of coffee?"
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah,
Could
so
get one, that'd be.
I know, so I'll keep looking. What else was I gonna say about
Well,
vendors?
you had 3 reasons, but you just gave us 2.
Oh, yeah, the third reason, parking expenses, and then the third reason was, oh, what I was told is we don't have enough variety. And so that's why they choose to go to the market in Manzanita, because their feeling is they have a lot more variety. And they do have a few things that we don't have because it's Nehalem and they're closer and they're local
Yeah.
and,
Mhm.
and
Are they meaning something besides food items?
yeah, I
Yeah.
think,
Um,
well, no,
No.
they're not. They're talking about food, because I said that, I said, we don't allow for the, the arts and crafts, which Manzanita and Seaside do. So they're, you can buy jewelry and things of that nature down there. But I know there's a smoked fish person that is in Manzanita that people want. I've
Mhm.
been trying to
They
contact,
used to have one up here.
Yeah,
I
that
know.
was good.
and there is one out of Seaside, and he had told, I met with him last year at the market, and he had told me that he was planning on doing our market. So I've contacted him twice and I've not heard anything. I'm gonna talk to Angie from the Seaside Market to see if she's heard anything, because she's the one that introduced
Mhm.
us.
And Manzanita had pasta, had dried pasta.
Mhm.
We
Homemade.
could had that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
Also, we have the 2 tea vendors back, but the one tea vendor who can't sell the tea can sell his spices. He's actually gonna do Durant olive oil, which is a big deal.
Okay.
So, I think I'm really happy we'll have some olive oil
Mhm.
back. And Durant's a great product. So,
I have a thought about coffee, and that is to talk to, Bald Eagle and see whether they
Oh,
had
yeah.
anybody that
okay.
could set up a,
They're closed on Tuesdays too.
Yes.
oh,
They'd have to
okay.
be.
Yeah.
Well, they have to
Yeah.
find somebody, because they, when they're off, they sit down at
Yeah,
home.
they deserve a rest.
Yes, that is their
Yeah.
rest, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so any vendors that you guys can think of, that we want to try to get in. Again, I feel like, talking to this person, I said, it's kind of a catch-22, because you're wanting more vendors, but my vendors are saying locals aren't coming. So,
Yeah.
Sure.
I'm kind of like, hide one hand behind my back with that,
Who was the vendor, I'm sorry, that got this information, who's dropping out, and who got this information?
That was Josie Farms.
And what did they sell? I can't picture.
They
all
are the very end,
vegetables.
the fruits and vegetables.
There was good.
It was
stuff.
really beautiful
them.
product,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
she was complimentary. They made great connections with the a couple people that they specifically were growing some things for. They're
Mhm.
really busy in Tillamook with their own
Mhm.
Yeah.
shop. And, so I don't think I think it was accumulation, but she did want to give us that feedback. So,
Try Chocolate Cafe too. Those two women are
Oh,
really
yeah.
nice and they might, be able to do something on Tuesday afternoons.
Maybe
okay.
they can make some milkshakes for us.
So that's kind of an update of the vendors. Is there anybody that you guys have a question on? So far,
I have a question. For some reason, the meaning of the word ceviche didn't pop into my head when you said it. Are they prepared food vendors?
Mhm.
That would be fantastic. I
Yeah.
love ceviche.
Yeah, because I'm
It would
looking
be
for lunch, when we changed that time to 12, and I really think that, we
Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna have
Yeah.
more people wanting lunch.
to have lunch.
Yeah.
Oh, and that was the other thing that was brought to my attention, was they didn't like the loosey-goosey of people coming in early. So this year, it's starting at 12. We're not letting people in before 12.
Wow.
And that's how they run it in Manzanita, and she's really firm on it. And so I think
Okay.
we've changed the hours to noon, so I think we can afford to say, nope, we are not. So I know Cranberries and everybody that likes to sell early, it's just
Yeah.
we've gotta keep
I
it.
gotta tell you, every single market I went to down in LA, and there were probably about 10 or 12, I could go to 2 every day if I wanted to down there. You were out of the market if you sold before the bell rang or after the bell rang.
Mhm.
You were out of the market.
Wow.
So, and that was true in Tucson too.
Yeah,
So,
and that's how it is in Manzanita. I mean, I'm
Okay.
yeah.
sure. So that's something that we're gonna enforce this year, and I'm letting all the vendors know.
Good.
I think I brought to your guys' attention the payments plan. I
Yeah.
still have people
Mhm.
choosing to pay the weekly of 35, but what I've done to try to sort of combat these kind of like last minute no-shows is I'm collecting the week prior.
Okay.
So that way, it's
Yeah,
just
you can pay a week at a time, but you're paying for.
I had
the
next
the
week.
next
next
week,
week.
yeah.
And, maybe one excuse, maybe two excuses because of traffic or an accident on 26, but not
Yeah, and we
3 or 4 or 5.
No, and we
markets.
definitely are, if they let us know, with 48 hours, I can find
Mhm.
somebody probably to fill their space.
Yeah.
There has been some talk about some of the vendors being short-staffed.
Mhm.
And so they've kind of brought it to my attention about, well, what if I want one in particular, he has 2 spaces. It's a prime location. And I sort of just emailed back. I said, we've done a pretty significant discount for the people who pay in advance. And I just, I can't really give a refund if you're a no-show, because it's a big hole in my market. And that's, I think, when people notice, if you've got a
Yeah.
bunch of holes in your market. I notice it in Astoria when I see it. So I've kind of been a little bit stricter on that. I know it's not the vendor's fault about not having employees. It's short-staffed everywhere, but we have to somewhere draw the line as to how we're running the market. So, so that's really all I had on the vendors. I am kind of keeping it. I did just get another a nut fruit person. I'm gonna look at her product, but we already have Notoriously Nuts signed up. We already have the bars, that are kind of fruit based. Because in the cranberries. So I don't think we really have room. One of our vendors did bring it to my attention that she felt like her sales were lower because we had too many sauce people. So I'm kind of trying to, and it wasn't just that too many sauce people, but also that she felt like the group selling the hot sauce, they market it as they do it in home, but they actually kind of farm it out to a bottling. So So I had, I forget, there's a term for it, and so I'm just gonna be a little bit more strict on those that we just can't,
Co-manufacturer.
yeah. So,
Do you think
yeah,
that,
co-pack, that's what it was, yeah.
do you think the locals would be more interested if they got some kind of discount?
I don't know how I would do
We
that.
can't
though.
do that.
Yeah.
No, you'd have to have the vendors go
Well,
along.
the vendor is the one that's gonna have to give the discount.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And
That's
I find
Yeah.
that like Kingfisher and some other ones, if you're a
They're
patron,
the
they,
same price
Yeah.
as the co-op. A, he'll give you an
When
extra
they
carrot
throw
or
in extra
two.
Yeah.
stuff, yeah.
But B, the prices on his greens are the same at the co-op.
Mhm.
When he's out at the market, I go the next day, it's the same price.
Yeah.
And the same quality up at the co-op.
Yep, and he runs out. If I don't
Yeah.
get the lettuce
Mhm.
early, I've noticed,
Yeah. Yeah.
so, and I do feel like he takes care of his
Yeah.
local customers, so
Yeah.
and same with Gail's Meadow, she's really generous and.
Oh, and the micro, you get the micro, they're the
Mhm.
same prices as the grocery store.
Mhm.
I guess if a vendor wanted to do it,
They
the way,
could.
the way
Sure.
they could do it is like, if you've bought it for 10 times and you come
Yeah.
back for the 11th, then they give you a little. off.
Like a little frequent buyer
Yeah.
card
Yeah.
or something.
Right, because
Yeah.
that's how you know somebody's more of a local,
Mhm.
Yeah.
I guess.
But that's completely up to the vendor.
yeah,
We can't.
yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. So that's all I have on vendor selection. I kind of covered the parking, in that. SNAP and double up food bucks. So, we've always been, when I started, we are approved for SNAP.
Mhm.
And this year I, also applied for double up food bucks. So that's gonna be the matching. So I talked to Nisa about it. I won't go to the food bank. And ask them if they're gonna do their same program, because I feel like the double up food bucks covers that. And Nisa thought that felt like a little bit double dipping. And so I think that we're gonna just go with the SNAP and the double up food bucks. And I also, I don't know if you guys are aware of how it works, and we're gonna have training, but I'll kind of try to do it probably the first year, but the system here is really old. It's Oregon Trail, and I don't know if you've noticed, but when people have these cards or need to get the tokens, they have to come up to City Hall. And that's really a barrier for people. And so what I applied, and we are getting the machine for free for a year that will take the SNAP cards. And so we'll be able to run them down at the market, so people don't have to come up to the city
Okay.
and do that. And so, like I said, there is going to be some training involved, but I think I really am trying to eliminate that barrier of having to
That's
come up
right.
to the city. And then I'm also applying for a grant for a new iPad just for that program. So our iPad, because it does inventory and all of that, will be used in the sales merchandise booth, and then the SNAP will have their own booth. That's the way they do it in Astoria and Seaside, and I think even Manzanita. So when I meet with them on Thursday, I'm gonna get a little bit more information, but we just had never had that capability because that machine is wired into our building here, and that's why it couldn't be moved, or we couldn't offer it down there.
When will you know whether we get the grant for the iPad?
We definitely already have the SNAP, the machine. If worse comes to worse, we'll use our old iPad, because we can do both. It's just, I think it would be easier
To keep it separate.
to keep it separate. And they have quite a bit of funding for this program. So I got the pricing from Rusty on what that's gonna cost, because we actually get a discount for the iPad through the government. So I feel like I'm pretty confident, at least 80%, that we're gonna be able to get that grant. Yeah.
Okay, I have a question, just because
Mhm.
I hate to sound stupid, but I really don't know much about SNAP or double up food bucks.
Yeah.
But it's like a low income program,
Mhm.
and they get a card or something, and when
Mhm.
they come here, they exchange the card for
For tokens.
tokens, and
Yep.
the tokens count as money?
Yep.
Okay.
And they're in dollar increments. And then that's the other thing, with the vendors, we were, reimbursing them at the end of season, and I felt that that wasn't really fair.
Yeah.
And so I told Nisa and the accounting department that I at least want it monthly. I don't want to wait, and they don't want to wait either. And then I'm having to collect all the tokens and figure it out.
Yeah.
Monthly is doable.
Yeah.
And it's an automatic, the reason they started doing that was because people weren't cashing their checks. So they were sitting with a lot of checks for the tokens, and just, it was a big confusion. But now that we're doing auto deposits, there shouldn't be any reason that we can't do it monthly. So, and that's the norm. Weekly to monthly is the norm
Mhm,
of reimbursement for the vendors.
And Double Up Food Bucks just
Mhm.
thinks the token counts for $2 instead of
You
$1.
actually get, I believe, and I have to go through training on it, but I think you get, if you buy $10 worth of tokens, then you get another $10.
$10.
Okay.
Yeah, I think is what that means.
Yeah, because the SNAP is part of the food stamp program.
Yep. And I'm still learning, Claire, too. I've been wanting to meet, want to do some more outreach, maybe with the food pantry. And because I have it in Spanish and in English how it
Okay.
works.
Mhm.
And I would love it if they would pass out the information so that people know that.
Or
It's-
eligible.
yeah.
Can do it.
Mhm.
I was told something really interesting because we live in a resort summer, that we don't actually have that low of an unemployment during the summer. People are employed.
Mhm.
And so it's actually folks who show up are often teachers
Mhm.
because they're not employed during the summer.
Mhm.
And they're the ones, so it's kind of an interesting thing we have here, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very different. And same thing with, I got a lot of feedback on why can't we be like the Manzanita market? It's so much fun and everybody goes and it's local. And I was like, well, one, they're on Friday.
Mhm.
That's a huge difference. Two,
Friday evening.
Friday,
yeah, Friday evening. And they also have more full-time, well, not more full-time, but they're drawing from Nehalem, they're drawing from a lot of the areas outside of Manzanita because it's closer.
Permanent residents.
Yeah. Mhm. So I mean, I'm open for any suggestions.
So sheer volume of hotel rooms down there that we have up here, I don't think.
Mm-mm.
So they might get weekly or monthly cottage rentals, but they're not getting, they don't have the thousands of hotel rooms that we do
Yeah,
for tourists.
yeah. And I know there used to be a kids program here, and Philomena said that kind of went by the wayside. Seaside, I know they had one, and that, I don't know if they were continuing to do that
You might
either.
want to talk to, I think it was from lack of children doing anything.
Mhm.
But you might, if you're interested, talk to Claire and talk to Peggy at the library. Peggy does children's activities in the children's room. They might figure out something to hook up with you for,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think the music, I mean, I actually see
The
kids
kids
at the
enjoying the
market,
music.
and the music seems to be what draws
Mhm.
Yeah.
them in a bit. Especially with it, when they let them play the instruments and,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, so. And then the other item on the agenda that I asked to add was music. I have let's see, July is only 2 weeks, so that's scheduled. I have none of August. No, sorry, June is 2 weeks, that's done. July is mostly filled. August, only one date is filled, and I have one date in September filled. So I have probably about 6 spaces. I've contacted Dave Quinton, and he is supposed to be getting back to me because he's about 3 dates.
Mhm.
And I'm trying to get that scheduled. I've already, you're good. Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
But maybe Paul
Yeah, Paul
Yeah,
Luper.
come
Yeah.
over.
can tell you about other people?
Yeah, and Carly is not coming back, so, which is a bummer. She did
She's
2
great.
dates and she's fantastic. She's not touring, she said this year, so,
From
yeah.
Seattle.
yeah. Yeah, it's a long haul for
Yeah,
her,
it
so I
is.
was
Yeah, it
almost
is.
pleasantly surprised that she was willing to do it. So that's kind of where the music schedule is right now. So if you hear of anyone, because I did get several comments of people like, how do we play music here?
Mhm.
I had one person, I did get back to him, but he works on Tuesday, and so he can't do it.
What is the group that plays at Bill's on Thursday nights?
Floating
Floating
Glass.
Floating Glass Balls? Would they or part of them?
Well, Dave is part of them.
Yeah, Dave's
Oh,
part of
okay.
them. Yeah.
And we
Dave
had,
Dave and Brad are half of.
Yeah. Right, this is why I'm saying,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
until Dave
Yeah.
kind of sets me up with the,
right.
because I think he has like 3 dates of different musicians from that group, so I really was
Paul
hoping.
has even played here before at the farmer's market, Paul
Mhm.
Duber and Bobcat.
Yeah, I would
They-
love, yeah.
And they're good, they're real lively, and
Yep.
I guess I was surprised they weren't here last year, so
Mhm.
they might be willing to do that.
And that is really all I have, but I thought we should all probably just get together and
Yeah.
so you could see kind of where we were going with.
How are you doing with the
Everything.
volunteers?
Um,
People coming back, enough people?
I don't know, I haven't really asked.
It's
I mean,
the
I,
same crowd.
yeah,
Yeah,
it
get an email out to the volunteers,
Yeah.
so we're gonna be doing this. and-
Yeah.
So get get it on their books and calendars, so
Yeah.
you know whether any of them are traveling all summer or not.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've got, as I have told you, I'm no longer committed to being here for the whole chunk of time at the beginning of each market. But if you can see that you're gonna need me to be here, let me know. The only exception to that may be I've I've hardly ever gone to family reunions, and this time I'm going to go to one in Utah. And I will try to hurry back in order to be here in time for the market, but it may be.
Yeah.
I'm planning to leave 3 days to drive there and 2 days to drive back.
Yeah,
If I'm back in 2 days, I'll be here for the first market.
okay. Well, those are kind of that's probably our whole, is Tom gonna
Mhm.
work
Oh, yeah.
again? Yeah. And I know you have,
I'll be gone 16th and 23rd of July
okay,
that I know of at
Okay.
this point.
at this point, okay,
I'm gonna miss the first market.
okay.
I'll be in Greece.
Where are we gonna be?
Greece.
Oh,
Santorini.
Wow.
second honeymoon.
Second honeymoon.
On the way to,
35th anniversary.
Oh, wow, congratulations.
Yeah, at that point, they start naming every anniversary.
Yeah.
well, you're on your cruise, aren't you? Then in July.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so if you know of, I mean, I know you guys are involved in a lot of different organizations, so if there's, anyone that you can think of that is wanting to do some dates at the farmer's market, we can probably use them,
Yeah.
so.
And
Well,
what-
actually, there are a couple people. I
Okay.
check with my friends at knitting on Sundays. There might be 2 or 3 that we can ring in. Julie,
Our knitting group.
Brenna.
Is like 20.
4 people.
on that list.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
need anything, we can.
Yeah, okay.
Bring it.
Do they want to have a food booth so that?
No, we could do
Coffee
yarn.
and
but-
What about the clothes items and stuff? Are those gonna be the same price and same selection?
Yeah, so I was kind of talking back and forth with Terry and Amy this morning about bags. And we don't have any orange bags. We have all green bags, and that it's not because of the popularity necessarily. It's just I found a whole box of green that Philomena didn't know about. And so I definitely want to order some more bags. And so I was just kind of asking, well, should we stick with the orange? Should we add a different color? My feeling is if we add a different color, maybe people who already had a green and orange bag would be like, oh, well, I wouldn't mind a new
Well,
color.
my response was the purple, because
Yeah.
the mugs,
Yeah.
the coffee mugs,
That's
the
how
young
I
ones,
would always
yeah.
say, you buy one, you have to buy the other because those are the colors of our sea
Yeah.
stars. And I would guilt them into.
and they would buy 2 of them.
Yeah. Yeah,
So I'm thinking purple and orange.
Yeah.
okay.
But I don't know.
But do you like those bags? Kind of.
No,
I don't like those bags.
I'm not especially partial to them.
Yeah.
If we have a
I-
full box of them.
Yeah.
People only buy them, well, a few people buy them for souvenirs. But most of the people buy them because they have bought things in the market and their arms are full and they want a bag to carry the
Yeah.
things in.
And they're pretty reasonably priced.
Yeah,
because-
$5-6 is.
Yeah,
Are they the same
kind of
bags we have at the library?
No,
These are bigger.
they're bigger, they open up the bottom.
ones at the library are pretty flimsy, really.
Some more artificial material.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's kind of a interface type material. I mean, they're reusable, but they're not my first
They're
choice.
not the most robust.
are you talking our bags or the library?
Yeah,
Ours.
our bags.
Because the libraries are $5 too, so. I thought
Yeah.
they were-
And what's
No,
the
ours are-
material of
They're
them?
more tote bags, it seems
They're
to me.
same,
Oh, they are.
Yeah.
they're smaller bottom, they're
Yeah,
not
I'd
as,
say you get a few uses out of them, but
Yeah.
if you're putting anything heavy in it, after a while, it's not.
Yeah.
gonna hold up.
Yeah, I mean, when I go into my bag collection, I prefer the canvas.
Mhm.
I
But they're
can
gonna
wash
be more
them
expensive
and-
too.
But,
So, yeah.
Or those echo sacks. that we
Mhm.
just crumple up.
mhm.
Mhm.
well, and I know they're still, I like I get they sell them like at Safeway and Freddy's, but I get really cute ones in Hawaii.
Oh, right,
They're my favorite.
Yeah, the ones from the bank, when Cannon Beach, I use those all the
Mhm.
time.
Yeah.
And I wash them too, even though they're
Yeah.
plastic, so.
Yeah, you can,
Mhm.
wash them out with hot water and, yeah, they're fine.
So I can look at options, but maybe this year, since we do already have the green,
We
maybe
don't
we'll
need to.
just,
Yeah,
yeah, we'll just
some.
do that for now.
How
And you'll
are,
see when you see the
Yeah.
inventory.
how are you budget wise if you need to buy more t-shirts? What is the timeline
Well, yeah, that's,
and everything?
we went over, we bought hats last year, but, so we don't have a ton of money. However, my salary, I'm not salary, I'm hourly, is going to come in a lot under what Philomena's was. And my understanding is I've asked twice now, I can pull, it's just the bottom line of the budget.
Okay.
So I guess to answer your question, I'm not worried if we need to purchase some things, sweatshirts or t-shirts. Oh, I did get, new tablecloths for the
Oh, good.
our
Some of
tables.
them are looking a little moldy.
Yeah.
Threw those away.
Yeah.
These aren't fancy, they're kind of the same thing where it's kind of fuzzy on the bottom and
Wow.
plastic,
So do
but.
they match?
Hmm?
Do they match?
Mhm. Yeah, there's blue and white, kind of florally.
Yeah, that's fine.
And they were fairly inexpensive, so if we want to do something at a future date, we can do that. And then I also purchased the weights that go on the legs, so we don't use sandbags anymore. So,
Oh, okay.
yeah, the people who set up, they know what I'm talking about.
I gotta tell you, those sandbags are better than the 5-gallon jug.
Oh,
water.
absolutely, absolutely.
So-
But yeah, and most of my vendors who brought their own weights, that's what they were using are these things that go
Oh,
right on the
yeah.
legs. And so that's what I ended up getting. I hope I got enough.
Somebody else wanted to enter them. We'll just leave.
Might
it.
be another
Should we just
meeting.
leave it?
Who's that?
Okay.
I don't know, I'm scared.
Click on the,
I know. Well. Right. I don't know.
click on indent, what the heck?
See who she is.
Ghost. Okay.
Connecting to audio and.
Okay. Okay. I think we can, right, just click on our picture up there. Can you put the cursor up on the picture and see if that brings it full screen?
This one?
Yeah. No? Okay, so look for that.
Okay.
Well, I think she's
we-
now in the room and listening in.
Oh,
we-
yeah, so try clicking on view up there. In the upper right hand.
There we go.
Okay.
She's there and now just listening.
Rachel, are you for the farmer's market meeting? We can't hear you.
Try, it looked like if you clicked on that triple dot,
Uh-huh.
She may have to unmute it on her side.
okay, but go down.
No, put in living room?
Hang on. Let's see what I think.
Maybe you can put her back.
I was thinking there was something there to turn on the video.
Should we?
No, you can't
That's
turn
right.
it on.
Oh,
she'd
ask,
have to do
okay,
that.
top, at the top, very top, ask to start video. Okay.
Remove pin.
Okay,
Oh, maybe we'll hear. her
okay,
Pipe in.
No.
okay.
Oh, I do have one. Are the dog biscuit people gonna furnish the dog?
We still
Biscuits.
have a whole half of the thing left, so
Oh,
I
okay.
think we're okay, but I'm sure if we need it replenished,
They will.
they will.
Do you think they're still good? The reason I'm asking, I don't know, since they were kind of natural, I don't know if they had any preservatives or anything.
I'll send them, I'll go ask at the dog store, see if they wanna just give us new ones.
We had some finicky dogs.
I just said some of them. But most people really liked that.
They
It was a
really
good way to,
appreciated
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah,
It was a huge jar. We didn't
Yeah.
really even need that many, but
Mhm.
I think they wanted to really impress with the jar.
yeah. Is there anything for the good of the order? Anything, any questions anybody has?
Did you want to know anything about the nonprofit
Sure.
things? Okay, I have, let's see, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 booked. I've contacted the History Museum and I've contacted the Arts Association, and I know they'll book at least one time. And then the library will book one time. So, I'll have to go back and look at my list from last year and see.
Okay.
Oh, food pantry, we usually ask them.
Okay, and you had mentioned that they can have 2 days. We did cut our season short, so I
So you
didn't
just
know if
want to
that.
do one day? Well, the only ones that have done 2 so
Friends.
far is the Friends of Haystack.
Okay,
So do you want me to just say they can do one or?
no, I think if you aren't, there are people
Okay.
not waiting to get in, then. it
Okay,
should
yeah,
be
because all these
okay.
other people I have offered so that they could do 2 and they just wanted to do one.
Okay,
It's our 20th Friends House.
okay,
So we're trying to do it as much as
yeah.
possible.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I don't have a problem with
Yeah.
2. It's just, like I would give priority probably to,
A new one.
a new one. Well,
Or local.
or local,
Yeah.
is what I'm thinking. Yeah.
I know the library will probably only do one.
Yeah.
I'm saying that because I had to do them last year.
Well,
And working in the morning and then doing that all afternoon, it just got to be a long day. I don't know if it was worth it, so we'll do one.
Well, and I don't really think the stained glass thing should be brought down.
That's true. It's a different thing. We're
I
at.
really, well, rather than a quilt, we're auctioning off a stained glass that a friend of mine made, and I don't particularly want that to travel.
So we may
Yeah.
not do it at all. I don't know. We hadn't even talked about it.
Yeah. I was just trying to think what the library could, if there's like a kids something or other that they want to do.
Yeah, we'll talk it over with Pete with the board.
Yeah.
Well,
What they've been trying to do with kids now is have like a story time once a month and an activity.
Mm-hmm.
That would be kind of hard to do here,
It
but
would,
I don't know.
or even just, kind of a little art area where
Mhm,
the kids
mhm.
could
yeah,
draw what they
Even
see in the
something-
market.
Right, right, or
you
even something to take home and,
Yeah.
yeah.
a bookmark that looks like something at the
Yeah.
market, and then they could go home and color it or something.
Yeah.
or write a letter to your farmer,
Yeah.
you know, or something
Speaking
like
of
that.
pictures, I was in the Grievers Gallery months ago. I don't even know if they had probably the biggest painting in the gallery was of the farmer's market.
Oh,
And there was one person said, that's gotta be Hank Johnson, out like that. And I happened to be going through my pictures from the market. And sure enough, I don't know whether it's a picture that I took or Nancy did or who, but that he was actually in some reaching over at some entirely different booth than what was there. Did we ever have a vendor by that name? Yeah, I think way back in the beginning.
yeah.
I don't to see that. Did he have it up in his studio on the easel
Well,
or
in
something?
like, on the wall that's closest to Hemlock.
Okay.
So if you come in the door and this was. Somebody could have bought it in the meantime,
Yes,
or
yeah.
they could have cycled through, but.
Do they keep, like, specific hours that you can go look, or?
I think they're generally open during business hours, you know, you can just, they've got an open sign.
Where's the
Hey,
gallery
Beavers?
located?
What's
It's the one
that?
on Hemlock, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's,
Hemlock and First.
where are we?
Yeah,
on the
Okay.
corner.
Yeah, it's like
They're
about.
both very ill, so that may be
Oh,
affecting their.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I thought
Hours.
Sam opened.
And
I
it's
thought
Sam-
Sam opened
Well,
it.
he's doing the caretaking from what I
Oh,
understand,
yeah.
so I don't know who's,
Way ahead of me.
yeah.
It's like about 2 or 3 blocks south of the library. On the same side, on the east side. And about one house.
It's the one that's in the presidential area
Yeah,
that
that's
has
what I
an
was
interesting sculpture and.
Oh,
stuff.
Griever, I'm thinking
Yeah.
of Stidel.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Oh,
Totally different,
Yeah.
Yeah,
thing.
and I think they're the limited hours, but
Yeah,
still,
it'd be fun to see.
yeah,
Yeah.
open more in the summertime.
Sure.
To go back to your concern about the variety of the market, we used to have Lance who brought in fresh local meat. Is there anybody doing anything like that?
I had the one meat vendor, they didn't do very well
Oh.
because people didn't want to buy the meat, you know, because they were tourists. And then I did find out that they were outsourcing and like that's
Oh.
what just isn't allowed, so then
Yeah.
they didn't come back.
Okay,
Lance won't do it because
Okay.
he does Manzanita, but you know,
Okay.
he just didn't do enough business.
up here.
Was the last I had heard. And when you ask that, we do have another vendor who is only doing eggs, an organic
that would
egg
be good.
vendor. I know Mountain to Sea, they do bring some eggs, but they run out. So I
And
think,
duck eggs, they run it.
yeah, I don't know. I
Yeah.
think they brought chicken as well, but, and they had talked
Somebody
about
bought-
maybe having.
Somebody I know bought duck eggs by mistake.
Yeah, Josie Farms, I think, had brought some meat and some eggs as well.
We used to have the sausage guy.
Yeah, there used to be, they did a, and they sell up, and they sell up at the co-op too.
Green something or other brought sausage.
Yeah,
Oh,
Oh,
also there was what used to be called Olympic or something, it became the Olympic authorities.
Yeah.
No, you can't call it that. but
Yeah.
That's a while back, I guess.
yeah, they're pretty big. I don't
Yeah.
think.
Oh,
they-
yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think they've probably outgrown farmers
Mhm.
market.
I think so. Cause the Olympic provisions.
Yeah.
Bamford, who you guys love,
Mhm.
did apply. But I can't get her to fill out her prepared food tax. I've emailed, I mean, I've literally, I've given step-by-step instructions on if I can just get this paperwork in, I can approve you.
That's the baker.
Mhm.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Did you have trouble with them last year without?
She didn't,
They
they
didn't
didn't come. That was the one you guys kept asking
Yeah,
me about.
yeah, that's what I was thinking.
And
And they
um,
got the vessel, I think they did well at the market.
they did, I think
Yeah.
that's why they signed up. My
Yeah.
only problem is that I talked to accounting and Nisa said that I cannot
Yeah.
let them come back unless they fill out, because it's just,
Yeah.
it's the rules and the rules
Mhm.
are the rules. And so I sent her everything that I could think of. I mean, in as much as like this is how, if your sales are this much, just put that, like just, and we can get you in. And, I've now emailed her a couple times and I haven't heard back, so. So the application is still there, but Baked by Sarah, we also have the same issue. She got her paperwork in today. And so she's approved. So she was the other bread vendor that we had last year.
She's the one with the sourdough from Portland, and she sells out early.
He does. That's why I don't think would be an issue to have two
No, no, the
bakeries.
different items and both very popular.
So I may just place a call to Megan. That's with Bamford. Maybe they're just really busy right now and it's kind of just not on their
Yeah.
radar, but they did sign up. And like I said, I want to approve them because I know you guys really
Mhm.
wanted. them.
Yeah.
Because I feel like bread, even tourists even buy bread.
yeah.
You know, I mean, cookies.
And wasn't Bamford, didn't they have cakes and cookies? And things?
Mhm.
They have lemon bread,
Mhm.
yeah, and the focaccia. Was
And the
that-
cookies,
Mhm.
and the
cookies,
Yeah,
kids could
so
all
yeah,
get,
tourists
you know,
did that.
Oh my gosh, those cookies were big enough to feed a family of 6.
Yeah.
Seriously, I got one, it lasted all week.
We also had a cotton candy vendor apply, but she was also going to do balloon creatures, which
Oh.
we don't, and I talked to Jonathan and we already have the popcorn. I didn't think cotton candy, because even looking at it's not really the healthy,
No.
what we're promoting. We don't have a lot of, we do have kids, but not, and
Not
so
enough
so
to,
I did,
Yeah.
they weren't approved. So. I'm trying to think if there's any other new vendors that you guys need to know about, but I can't think of anybody else off the top of my head. So,
So what's Jonathan doing nowadays?
well, he just has his shop
the nest.
in the nest.
They finally are clearing everything out of Dodo's. I think they
Mhm.
finally
Yeah.
gave up on it being repaired.
Yeah.
And found a place for the oven.
Yeah, and so I'll just, I'll he's the culinary liaison, and he has said he still wants to do it. I'm gonna double check with them again this year to see, because I'm gonna have to do some farm visits and some other things that we really haven't done. And I just want to make sure with his workload that that's gonna be something that he's gonna help with.
And Bears is still coming back. Bears.
Yeah, he just signed up. Mhm. I did get another farm out of Yakima. And I looked up how long that drive was, which is 5 hours, 5.5 hours.
That's crazy.
So I sent them a message and I said, I can't imagine you're gonna wanna do this on Tuesday. And they said, that they would get a hotel and if they could do a couple markets. They haven't been accepted into Seaside. I don't think they were accepted into Astoria, so I'm, cause I'm not sure why. I'm gonna find out on Thursday. But yeah, I hate to, have a booth
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden they,
Especially if it makes a difference of whether they can do it.
Yeah.
If, if they don't turn out to be schmucks or something, I could put them up.
okay. Well, let me find out at my meeting on Thursday,
Yeah.
kind of to see.
Bear that in
The
mind.
only other thing is, cause that's another, farm that I just need to make sure that they're not outsourcing and then. bring it.
Yeah,
So,
Right, yeah, Yakima, again, up in Washington, when I was a kid growing up, Yakima fruit stand. But again, there was somebody going over and buying and bringing and selling. It wasn't somebody.
yeah, that
coming to-
sounds like you
Yeah.
really do need to confirm who's raising it.
the berry people haven't signed up yet either, which
Oh, wow.
is a little,
They've been regulars for
I
a
know.
long time.
I know. So, I don't know.
Maybe they don't have another generation coming up.
I know, I don't know. And she sort of ended the season a little bit early. That's just because they didn't have any more berries, but
Yeah.
yeah. But overall, I think it's coming together
That's
good and
Good news.
yeah, I mean, if I could fix the what?
Ceviche, yeah.
Yeah.
looking for it.
That would be nice. I love ceviche.
Yeah, if I could get a couple more food vendors, I mean, I think they'll do well. So,
Tell you, coffee and donuts, it will go so.
Oh, God.
Right?
yeah. Well, I'll check in with the ball people. But I feel like that is their only day off.
Yeah, they're closed 2 days. So I think one they do shopping and cleaning, the other one they get to relax.
Yeah,
And I don't
But they
think,
used to coordinate with Sleepy Monk.
they used to, one of
Yeah,
them was
yeah.
Monday, Tuesday, the other one was
Yeah,
Wednesday,
I think
Thursday.
Sleepy Monk's changed.
But Sleepy Monk is now Tuesday through Thursday. They're closed 3 days now. And I cannot. Rachel and Rebecca, I never know which one is which. But one of them came over to buy breakfast from the Auxiliary Legion on Sunday. She gets me at 7:30 in the morning. She comes over and gives me the money as I'm unlocking the door. She didn't have a voice from the weekend, was so crowded
Okay.
and so busy. She had no
Yeah.
voice after Friday and Saturday.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm sure that I don't think they really want to open or do a booth or anything.
No, I know.
And,
No, they're taking that time off and I don't. blame
and they
them.
need it.
Yeah.
They are so always busy.
Yeah. Yep, there's no.
And they do a
no
lot of
break.
commercial.
Yeah, I'm trying to think, yeah, maybe I'll head up to Astoria, because there was also Freet and Scoops that was now bought by a new
Oh, it
new
hasn't been-
owners, and they were
okay.
talking about wanting to get into some markets.
Oh, that
farmers
would be
markets.
awesome, because the
So-
gelato place has no interest in coming back from Seaside.
Okay,
Well, they were here, they did great, and then they never came back.
wasn't the prepared food tax stuff? was it?
No, it was before that. I think it
Okay.
was employee, and then they got, so that, I mean, they have a line outside their door
Right,
all summer long.
right, yeah,
So I think it's really just finding making the product and employees to
yeah,
do farmers markets. They're not doing any of them anymore.
yeah.
But that would be the Scoops and Fritz. That would be, because they have some unusual flavors of
Mhm.
ice cream.
Yeah,
That reminds me of, what's that soup place you and I have gone to?
Oh, down in Nehalem,
I call it Buttercup.
It
it
is
is
Oh,
Buttercup.
is
It is Buttercup.
I was like, but.
I was thinking of the soup
when
dancing.
We were sitting there chatting with them. They've always wanted to get a storefront here,
Yeah,
but they felt the prices were too high and they
but
couldn't
this
do
might be
it.
a way to get
But-
into Cannon Beach.
I mean, they got soup that people would buy and take
Mhm.
home.
Chowder,
You know,
yeah.
chowder.
Mhm.
Like you,
that could
Yeah.
be great.
that could be
Buy
fun.
like a bowl of
Mhm.
soup or a quart.
Yeah,
yeah, and I know she caters
yeah.
as well. When you have a,
And she doesn't need all 6 types of soup down here if she
Right.
wanted to do it,
yep,
but they would be a good one.
Did you say that's in Manzanita?
In Nehalem,
Yeah.
in Nehalem.
right by the fish and chips place.
I have no idea,
I don't believe so.
but they get enough, but if they wanted to get into Cannon Beach, it's a way of getting a
Just
foothill.
test Cannon Beach, 'cause
Yeah.
They kept asking about real estate.
Prices, yeah,
what
when we were
stores
there,
are
yeah.
Open and,
Yeah, and I think they've looked at a couple of spaces, and I know the spaces are even more expensive now.
Mm-hmm.
instead we put in pot shops.
Yeah.
I just find it interesting that every town along the coast from Tillamook up has homemade ice cream except for us.
Our local scoop guys.
It's Tillamook.
It is.
It's all Tillamook here in town.
Susie Scoops is.
It's Tillamook.
Hmm.
Seaside has homemade gelato. Scoops and Fritz up handmade. The Halem has,
Yeah.
we're the only ones. And they get
We're the
Good
only
price.
ones, what?
We're the only ones that use, that don't have a homemade ice cream shop in town.
So I'm trying to think, what's the one next to the bookstore?
Oh, that's Tillamook too. It's,
Is it?
yeah, it's
Okay, I
either
thought they-
Tillamook or Umpqua. There, it's all commercially made ice cream in town here. And they get a pretty price. I had friends visiting.
I don't recall that.
I had
Yeah.
friends visiting last winter, took them out to dinner and they wanted dessert, so they bought me a 3 ice cream cones. They got the fancy ones, 2 scoops. They got the really fancy cone. I got a regular sugar cone and 1 scoop. It was like over $30. I mean, I could have gone in and bought out Mariner Market for the amount of, that we paid for those 3 ice cream cones.
Well, that's why they're not making it handmade, is they don't.
They don't have to.
They don't
Yeah,
have to do that. They
but,
could make it-
I was amazed. I was amazed
Yeah.
at how much. I mean, I seriously could have gone over there and bought Haagen-Dazs and, right?
All right, should we end this meeting, you guys?
I move.
All right, I second.
What time is it?
It is 2:00.
Okay.
Meeting adjourned at 2:00.